Hi everyone! Today's class will be focusing on some drills to strengthen our core, and we're going to start in a tabletop position with some warm-ups for our wrist. So sitting up here in a neutral spine with your fingers spread, and we're just starting to draw little circles here with the shoulders. You can draw the circles with your hips as well. And we're just getting used to placing a bit more weight into the hands because a lot of the drills we'll be doing today will be placing quite a lot of weight here. Just feeling into any clicks and cracks. And they can go in the opposite direction. And then coming back to center now, let's just start to take little forward and back movements here with the shoulders. So you can lean your weight over your wrists, maybe even slightly forward, thinking of shoulders over the tips of your fingers, and then exhale to lean your weight back. Again, leaning forward, trying to really press into the pads of your fingers, like a break with your fingers, and then leaning back. Just doing this a couple more times. And then you can sit back towards your heels for a moment. I'm just going to flip the palms up and just gently press the backs of your hands down into the mat to give your fingers, your wrists a bit of a wriggle. Release those wrists for a moment. So now we're going to come into a half plank position. Fingers are spread again, similar to what we were doing in tabletop, but this time you want to start with your knees a little further back, and we're going to tuck the tailbone under. Try to bring the shoulders right over your wrists, maybe even slightly in front. Pull the lower belly in. Try to really spread your shoulder blades and press your upper back up towards the ceiling. The crown of your head is pulling forward to keep your neck long. And try to relax those shoulders. We're just staying here, feeling the stretch in your wrists, the strengthening in the wrists, in your forearms, your shoulders, your arms, your core. Holding for 3 rounds of breath, breathing in and out through your nose. And then coming all the way back to center, you can sit back towards heels again for a moment, interlace those fingers and roll your wrists out. Okay, so now you can choose to just repeat the half plank position, or we're going to come into our full plank. Essentially, everything else is the same. Fingers are spread, shoulders stacking over your wrists. You're tucking your tailbone under, finding that cat spine, doming through your upper back. And remember, you can choose to stay if this is already quite strong for you. Otherwise, now we're going to tuck those toes under. See if you can start to float your knees off the mat. Can you really squeeze through your inside thighs? Press down more into the mat with your hands. Staying here for 3, 2, and 1. And you can again lower those knees down, sit back towards your heels again, and then roll those wrists out again. So now let's make our way back to that plank position. This time we're going to build on that again, and we're going to start to lift one leg up, so we're placing even more weight into our arms and shoulders. And this is where that core is really important because it's going to make things a lot easier. So shoulders over your wrists. Option 1 is to stay in half plank. Option 2, find your full plank and hold here. Otherwise, this time option 3, without moving your hips, without moving anything else, start to lift your right leg off. You can point your toes, reach them towards the back of the room, keep the crown of the head reaching forward. 3, 2, 1, and then lower your right foot down, lift your left foot up, point those toes back, hold here. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then lower your left foot down. You can drop those knees down. Again, shake it out. Okay, let's come through our downward facing dog now. Okay, so we're in our down dog. Instead of just kind of dumping into the joints here, we're going to make sure we're really active through the core by scooping your lower belly in. Think of pressing the belly towards your lower back, and then when you exhale, maintaining that sensation, that scooping, you're lifting the hips back and up. And you can take a few moments here to just shake out your hips and pedal out your feet, but making sure we're not flaring those ribs, dumping into the shoulders, into your lower back. Maintain that action of scooping the lower belly in. And you can just choose to stay here. Now on the inhale, we're going to lift the right leg, finding a 3-legged dog. And we want to maintain the action of the scooping of the belly. We're going to square off those hips here. It doesn't really matter for this one how high you lift your leg. We want to just maintain the pressing of the lower belly towards your lower back to maintain the engagement in your core. Hold here for the inhale. On the next exhale, look forward. Keep that right leg lifted. Let's bring the shoulders over the wrists, finding that 3-pointed plank. You can drop your left knee down if you need to. And then exhale, lift your knee if it's down, and come back to that 3-legged down dog. Staying here for the inhale. Staying here for the exhale. Let's do that one more time. Come forward on the inhale. Shoulders stacking over those wrists. And then exhale, you can keep that right leg lifted, press it back, 3-legged dog. Okay, then lower your right foot down. Let's just switch sides. Inhale, your left leg lifts, lower belly hugging in. You might just stay here. Maybe this is already enough for those arms, shoulders, your core. Or on the inhale, you look forward now. Shoulders over those wrists. Again, option to drop the knee down. And then exhale to lift back to that 3-legged dog. One breath here to rest. And then we're going to do that again. So inhale to come forward. Exhale to push back. Good, and then lower all the way down. Lower those knees down again. And then come back. So you might feel these poses a little bit more in your wrists, your shoulders, and your arms. But actually, we really need to use a lot of that core strength to keep things really light and keep the movements controlled, help with the balance. So we are training actually all of these things all together, but we want to focus more on that midsection, that control there today. Okay, so we have been on our wrists for a little while. Let's actually focus more on this abdominal section, this midsection now. So we're going to sit to one side, just sit down on your sit bones. And we're going to find our boat pose. So, boat. You might just be staying right here. Feet flat on your mat. Hands to your shins or behind your thighs. And then sitting up nice and tall. And drawing your shoulders back and down, away from those ears. And maybe this is enough to feel that engagement through your belly, through those abdominals, in your quads. Otherwise, maybe you can start to lift your heels. Just come up to your tiptoes here. And this is enough. If this is okay, start to bring your hands behind your thighs. Begin to float your feet off the mat. Just being aware of how your lower back is positioned. So we want to make sure we're not dumping into this lower back. We're keeping a long spine, keeping the chest lifted. Even if you need to drop your feet down, okay? No crunching into that lower back. If this is okay, maybe now you start to reach your fingertips forward. Try to keep your shins at a 90-degree angle. Holding here. Staying for 3 more rounds of breath. Okay, and then slowly you can drop those feet down. You can wrap your arms around your knees for a moment and just rest here. Okay, so this time we're going to shuffle forward a little bit more so we have a little bit of space to prepare to lie down. We're finding our boat pose again. So you might just be here, you might be here, finding your option, your version of boat. Stay here for the inhale. On the next exhale, let's lower the right leg down, straightening your right leg forward. At the same time, lower your upper body down, pressing your lower back towards the mat. Keep reaching your fingertips forward and just lowering down until your shoulder blades are just lifted off the mat. Holding here for 3, 2, 1, and then inhale, sit all the way back up to that boat position, finding that 90 degree, or maybe you drop your feet down. Staying here for the inhale. And then exhale, we're going to do the other side. Lower your left leg down. Press your lower back down. Keep your shoulder blades lifted. Keep reaching your fingertips forward. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then sit all the way back up again. And then again, you can drop your feet down, wrap your arms around your knees, give yourself a squeeze, and rest here. So we are just adding on as usual. Maybe you are just holding in your boat, and that is plenty for you today. Or you can add those little single leg lowers if you want to mix things up a little bit, make things a bit stronger. We're going to repeat that again. So this time, starting in your boat pose again. Maybe just do the single leg lowers. Or staying here for the inhale. And this time, lower your right leg first. Just one breath here. Lower back pressing down. And then inhale to lift. Exhale, lower your left leg down. Lower back presses down. Inhale to lift. And then exhale, we're going to come all the way down to our low boat. Extending both legs out this time. Try to press that lower back down. Staying here for 3, 2, 1, and then you can lower all the way down now, lying down onto your back. And a big sigh out. Okay, you can bring your feet flat onto the mat. And just giving your legs a bit of a shake, dropping them side to side. Maybe feeling a bit of a stretch into the quads, into your hip flexors, into those abdominals. Okay, and now from here, the final core work, we're finding an L shape here with our legs. So you're lying flat on your back. Just make sure there's no gap here underneath your lower back. Can you press the lower back down, really grounding it down? Bring your legs up overhead. You can flex your feet, pointing your toes back towards you, pressing your heels up towards the ceiling. And the hands can come down beside you as well. Shoulders are open, chest open, pressing those palms, your arms down into your mat. We're just holding here. Keep pressing the whole back body into the mat if you can, like you're trying to press the ground away. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you can bend those knees, give yourself another hug, and rock side to side. So that's it with the drills today. Remember, you've got all these different options for each of the drills and the poses. Make sure you just keep working at your own pace. Repeat the more foundational, the easier options as often as you need before you build up and do the harder, more challenging options. Keep practicing. Namaste.